many of them are be able to hear tonight. Others had prior commitments. I apologize for having to have changed the date. That was another situation with COVID. My family was struck down with COVID in early January, and we never quite recovered and till now. But it took too long. Just a quick word about COVID. It's COVID. No, enough about COVID. About the National Honor Society. I learned that last year was the 100th anniversary of the founding of COVID. Oh, I hope we don't celebrate 100 years of COVID ever. or of the National Honor Society. I'm going to get this, I really am. And it was done to honor students who not only are academically strong, but demonstrate other characteristics of leadership, of their own character, and service to their communities, and to really encourage that. And we were going to talk more about that. I've got 4 of our students will read what the 4 pillars of National Honor Society are about. But I thought I came across a quote this past week by one of the early women pioneers in journalism in the United States. She was actually a war correspondent during the American Civil War. Her name was Margaret Fuller. And she said, if you have the flame of knowledge, then you must let others light their candles in it. And that's really, in a nutshell, the purpose of National Honor Society. Take the knowledge that so many of you have and help others to light their candles. So at this time, I'm going to invite our principal, Mr. Paul Schmitz, to come up and have some remarks for us.
Thank you, Mr. Lynham. And thank you for agreeing to take on the responsibility of organizing our National Honor Society. Mr. Hovland is here. He's done it for years, every year since I've been here. He did a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Lynham and keeping our strong tradition going. One thing that we didn't do this year, we typically have the kids sitting in the front because I give a speech every year, and it's for you, it's not for all of you, so I'm going to be trying to project. And you didn't get a chance to really have this last year, and I'm really grateful. I'm happy to be here, but I'm most happy for the seniors. It's been a pretty choppy high school experience. I'm excited to say it feels like we're going to be able to finish with the sense of normalcy. And this is one of the first things that we've done that feels kind of like what we used to do. And what I used to do is give a lot of speeches. And I don't do a lot of speeches around graduation time because you're just ready to be done. This is one of the only times that we have a ceremony, a celebration, especially for the juniors, while you're still in the midst of doing something instead of being done with something. All of our award programs are at the end of things. But this is a chance for me to talk to the juniors while you're still here, and the seniors while you're still able to pay attention, because by June 4th, it's going to be 100 degrees, and you're just going to be ready to get out of here. And so tonight I'm going to ask you to take just a couple of minutes. I know you've had a long day of school. We just walked out of parent-teacher conferences, and you probably are done with your practices and jobs and have been busy. But I'm going to take, it's 9 minutes. And the clock's already started. I timed it because I practiced this. I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm going to ask you to self-reflect for a second, and I'm going to talk about the tenets of the National Honor Society. And as Mr. Lynham said, it's been 100 years. It's great for me. I can kind of dust off the same old speech every year because the tenets never change. Our ideas around the tenets change over time. But the 4 tenets of the National Honor Society have been tried and true over time, and it's an organization that is still strong all around the United States and in other parts of the world. And that is that scholarship, service, leadership, and character. So tonight I'm going to start with leadership. And I'm likely seeing in the back there the leaders of our school that make our school what it is today. You're the captains, the student council members, key club members. Although for some of you, leadership might be the thing that was the hardest box for you to check, because not all of our leaders are outgoing and traditional leaders. But what our society really needs right now is everyone taking on a leadership role, and just simply being positive. You don't have to have your name on top of a letterhead or a C on your jersey in order to make a difference in your classroom, in your community, in your school. And when I walk around the school and our classrooms, this is a very positive place. This is a place where people feel included, and those of you that are here tonight are a big part of making that atmosphere what it is. And now that you're assigned on as a member of the National Honor Society, that positive leadership is now an expectation that you should have for yourself, and we will have that of you as members of the National Honor Society. It's something that you've demonstrated, and it's expected that it will continue. Next one is character. Character's tricky. It's easy to list platitudes about doing the right thing. People can nod along, and they make sense. But character is more difficult when you try to put the concept of character into your life and what it means specifically for you, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do. So on a side note, I don't know if everybody knows this, but in the application to the National Honor Society, there's a survey that Mr. Lynham put out to all of the teachers. And all of the students who want to be members of the National Honor Society have their name on this survey, and the teachers and the principals not rank the kids, score the students on a score of 1 to 6. And if the student didn't have the character that the teacher thinks they had and they give them a 1, they literally have the ability to almost blackball a student from being in here. So it's a big step for the kids even to put themselves out there like that and to be judged like that. And it's a testament to their character for the fact that they're sitting here right now, because they all passed, and here they are. So thank you for that. So that's the side note. But back to the personalization of character and what it means for your future. Don't lose sight of what you want to accomplish in high school, and character really can play into that. You will be confronted by situations that could potentially lead you away from the commitments that you've made and the goals that you have for yourself. And if that's the time when you're going to need to rely on character, when making the right decision suddenly becomes more difficult than making the wrong decision. That, to me, is the most important thing I'll say tonight. Character comes into play when making the right decision suddenly becomes more difficult than making the wrong decision. And that changes as you get older. It really changes about the time you reach 17 or so for many of you. It's very different than elementary school. When you were younger, character was really about being compliant and following the rules of the adults around you. As you gain independence and are out in the world, character now becomes about defining for yourself who you are and what you stand for and what you want to become. And the summer before your senior year and the summer after your senior year can be especially precarious time for those challenges. Parents know what I'm talking about. So here's my advice. You have an entire lifetime to be an adult, but you only have the part of the rest of this year or 1 year left to be a high school student. And consider that as you make decisions. You'll be an adult the rest of your life, but make the most out of the time that you have here, and your character will be a big part of how that plays out with the decisions that you make. So next National Honor Society tenet is service, and I haven't changed this part of my speech because I really do believe that service is one of the things that's the secret to happiness in life. And I'll get to that in just a second. So over time, working with Mr. Hovland and now with Mr. Lynham, I've learned that of the 4 tenets, service is the one that blocks the most students from entering the National Honor Society, or they get put on hold for a year and have to reapply. And that's because service is a tangible thing and it's measured. What have you done? For some of you, this is actually easy. You volunteer at church, and service for others comes naturally for you. But for many of you, you might have just covered this because you knew that you should. You want to go to college. You know that colleges look for volunteerism. You want to be in the National Honor Society, so you have to find some place to volunteer, and you did it to check the box. But if that's the main reason why you did the service hours, you check the box to be able to get into college or to have a good resume. We're perfectly fine with that. I think about this a little differently as an adult. I believe that this tenet of service doesn't exist in the National Honor Society to make sure that you do good for others. But this tenet exists for you to be able to experience service to others. That's how it's that's what I mean by the connection to happiness. Happiness, there are studies on it, books on it, and we even have the constitutional right to pursue it. But through my observation, reading, trial and error, I've learned that one of the true steps to happiness is in this very service to others. It is in giving that we receive. That's the paradox of the pursuit of happiness. The more we work to help others find happiness and what they want and need in life, the likelier it is that success and happiness will find us. Hopefully, that's something that many of you already know through your service. But for some of you, that's something that hopefully you started to discover as you were checking the box to join the National Honor Society. And finally, scholarship. Scholarship is the tenet that can be the most stressful. It's related to a number, your GPA. But I actually have good news for you, and this is a big concept that I'm going to end with, because I'm going to tie the idea of scholarship to college in your future. And for some of you, it's easy. You're good at tests. You know what you want to do. The pathway in your career is laid out. You want to be an engineer. There's a degree for that. There's a college for that. You want to be an RN. You know how to become an RN, and there's jobs available. But for others of you, the concept of ramp up, what do you want to do for the rest of your life, is super stressful. And then they ask you, okay, so now how are you going to pay for it? And you try it once you figure out what you want to do. So I want to hopefully alleviate some stress when you think about your future and scholarship and school and how stressful that can be. Here's why I have good news for you, and I hope I can convince you of this. For where you are in life, you're already on that path to success. Just by being here tonight, you've demonstrated a competence and a commitment that is already putting you ahead of your peers. When you get stressed, don't worry about thinking about the whole future, 6 and 7, 8, 9 years from now. But can you live up to the commitments that you have to yourself, to your family? And if you want to, use the tenets of the National Honor Society. They work. Can you do that the rest of today? It's late. Today's easy. But tomorrow, when you wake up tomorrow, can you do what you know you're supposed to do to fulfill those commitments? A day at a time is easy. And if you do that each day, and you wake up, and you take the time to reflect on those commitments, trust me and trust the process when I say, if you simply continue to do your best, your future will unfold, and those answers to those questions will arrive. They will. So, congratulations. Until then, with the time that you have left, my last piece of advice is, make the most out of high school. Take a look at the curriculum guide. Do something outside of your comfort zone. Number one, take Hovland's and Grusing's psych and film class. That's a must. Do that for sure if you haven't. Do something that you normally wouldn't be able to do. If you go to college and try to take a welding class, it'll cost you thousands of dollars. You can do it for free here. Why not? Try it. We have a school right now that has people from all around the world. Sign up to be a volunteer in an English language learning class and meet people from all around the world. You don't have to travel. We have students right here that could take you on places where they've been and have that interesting experience. Take advantage of what we have to offer here. And if nothing else, think of your dream independent study class, something that you really want to study but we don't offer. Find a teacher that's willing to sponsor you for that independent study, and I'll sign that slip for you, and you can have a block where you study whatever you want. Seniors, you only have one more term to do it. Juniors, think about it. And if I know you're a National Honor Society member, you're trustworthy, and you'll be trusted, and I'll sign it. Thank you very much. Congratulations. But talking to the back of the room. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Schmitz. Part of the custom of the induction ceremony for the National Honor Society is to have some students nominate a few teachers that they would like to have a special recognition for. And this evening, we're pleased to have Mr. Tom DeBoer, one of our math teachers, Mr. Rob Flagel, our science teacher, one of our science teachers, and Mr. Lyle Hovland, psychology teacher. And I got the names here of the, so I'm going to start with Mr. DeBoer. I'd ask him to come up here. And he's going to be Thelma Benitez, Leslie Jimenez, and Jaime Ulloa. I'm sorry I did not get Jaime's name in there. It was a miscommunication, but I would like you guys to make your way up here. And they're going to say something about Mr. DeBoer.
Mr. DeBoer is my favorite teacher. He has always shown that he cares for all his students, and he's always helped me whenever I didn't understand something. And he's made me more confident in asking questions in class. And he's also pretty funny. He always made jokes in class, and that made it a lot more fun. Most students always dread going to math class, but I'd say that most of the students who take his class always enjoy going to his class. And he's always very respectful towards the students, and he is extremely patient and helpful. And I'm also his TA, and he helps me with my other classes, and that's always fun too. And he also he's always shown that he loves teaching and helping other students, and he's shown that he cares for everyone in this school. And he has shown me like a bunch of skills that I know I can use in life and in other classes. And he's just an overall great teacher, and that's why I think he should be honored as an exceptional teacher.
Mr. DeBoer is not only my favorite teacher because he thinks I'm funny and smart. He is kind, respectful, smart, and overall a good teacher. He made me comfortable with asking questions and not seem annoying in the process. He showed caring for all of his students and was very helpful in the class that I had to him. For me, my favorite part of the day was going to his class because I was comfortable enough to be myself around him. My favorite memory of that class was awards day, where he was mentioned our favorite teacher. And that award still stands to this very day. So thank you for all the memories and all the math tricks, Mr. DeBoer.
I didn't practice this. Mr. DeBoer is my favorite teacher. I started junior year with pre-calculus, and stereotypically, that's like probably the scariest thing you could do. Mr. DeBoer made it so easy to understand, and he was so helpful the entire process. Along with being helpful, he's also the most fun and easygoing teacher I've met. He let us have little squeaky pigs as a substitute to raising our hands, and along with the substitute squeaky pigs, he let us experiment flipping with them, and we calculated the flippability of them with probability. Along with the squeaky pigs, we also did class awards day, and I don't know any teacher that would let us do that, especially because we chose the awards for everyone ourselves. Pre-calc was honestly the most memorable class I've ever been in, and Mr. DeBoer definitely deserves the Best Teacher Award.
Thank you. I don't know.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. DeBoer. Next, we invite Mr. Rob Flagel to come up here, and Rian Hoadley is going to be saying some words about him. So, Rian, come on up, please.
I chose Mr. Flagel because in his class I would always be bothering him, asking him questions. I would come up to him asking him like 10 questions just for one problem. And I think he's one of the most helpful and nicest teachers I've ever had, which is why I nominated him. And the time I had in his class was very valuable, and I hope he continues doing what he does because he's great at it.
Thank you, Rian, and thank you, Mr. Flagel. Finally, we have Mr. Lyle Hovland. As Mr. Schmitz mentioned, Mr. Hovland is my predecessor in this role of the National Honor Society advisor, and I say, Fauzia, if you would make your way up, you too, please. And he teaches psychology here. So Fauzia Ibrahim is going to say some words about him.
I think we can all agree that Mr. Hovland is one of the most energetic teachers out there. The way that I would describe him would be as if I were describing a kid in a candy store, in the sense that he truly loves what he's surrounded by within his classroom. Whether it be the material he's teaching or the students he is influencing, you can just tell by the way he executes his lessons that he adores his profession. His enthusiasm in the classroom transforms into the many inspiring teaching methods that he implements into his lessons. In the many years of school that I have had, he is by far one of the most memorable adult figures that I have had come across. Although the COVID era had taken a toll on so many aspects of the classroom, Mr. Hovland had created his own unique method to counteract the effects that the virus had on our classroom interactions. His teaching on the principles of psychology transcends the basics of the brain. By this, I mean that Mr. Hovland teaches in a way that not only engages his students, but also influences their interest towards the subject he teaches. Teaching is not only a profession, it is a lifestyle. I want to let you, as well as all teachers, know that your hard work does not go unnoticed by us students. Thank you for being a wonderful teacher, excellent role model, and an overall great person.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Fauzia, and thank you, Mr. Hovland. Now, this time, in his remarks earlier, Mr. Schmitz mentioned the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society. We're going to refocus on that, and I've invited several of our students, if they would come on up here, and they're going to talk about each of them focus on them each specifically: character, scholarship, leadership, and service.
The first candle represents the pillar of scholarship. Scholarship means a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even after formal education has ended, for learning only ends with the end of life. We are also eager to learn outside the classroom. We are aware that each person we meet and each experience we have can teach us something very important. Learning is the tool by which we connect with the past, understand the present, and prepare for the future. National Honor Society members are committed to continuously expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship.
The second candle represents the pillar of service.
Service could be described in various ways. In the routine of the day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or without recognition is the quality we seek in our membership. Those who serve others are repaid with satisfaction and the feeling of goodwill that comes from within. Service also means to see others through the eyes of compassion instead of judgment, to find solutions instead of finding someone to blame, to be willing to listen, even to those whom we disagree. National Honor Society members are committed to volunteering our time, abilities, and ways of living to the creation of a better tomorrow for all.
The third candle represents the pillar of leadership. True leadership must proceed from unselfish motives. It requires a constant denial of self, a genuine compassion for others, and being thoroughly dependable in any responsibility accepted. The most important quality of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interest of others. We understand that the best leaders are those who can inspire others to achieve their personal best. Great leaders communicate their visions and objectives while respectfully listening to those of others. National Honor Society members understand that no matter what power and resources may exist for any organization, team, or project in life, they are ineffectual without the guidance of wise leaders.
The fourth candle represents the pillar of character. Character is the force within each individual which distinguishes that person from others. It gives each one individuality. Without it, we cannot respect oneself nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is the force of character which guides one through life. Character is achieved, not received. It is the product of constant action, daily striving to make the right choice. By demonstrating such qualities as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship, we hope to prove by example that we value character. In his famous speech, I Have a Dream, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that he dreamed that his children would live in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. National Honor Society members understand that regardless of our backgrounds or our current and future circumstances, we will always be in control of the type of character we develop and share with the world.
Thank you very much, and I must apologize. They did a wonderful job. I had the names mixed up here. I looked at this thing many, many times today, maybe a little too much, but wonderful job. Thank you so much. At this time, we are going to present all these students who are in the National Honor Society. So I ask those who are inducted in 2021, as I was able to explain to most of you before, would you make your way over here and kind of get to the edge of the stage? Do be careful around the stage. And I've got the pens there. And during this COVID season, Mr. Schmitz, very thoughtfully just mentioned to me that if you're not comfortable shaking hands, just give him a nod, and he'll certainly respect that. So, and as I mentioned, a number of our students were not able to be here. We lost some because of the inclement weather last week that forced a change in some of the sports that some of our students are engaged in tonight, whereas otherwise it would have been free. But so I've got we will mention their names. And and those who are here, as I mentioned your name, please come across and receive your, as I've touted to them a number of times, your modest gift from Wilmer High School, Wilmer Public Schools. Last year we had Jonas Inez and Carter Bastine. Today, we also have Caroline Becker, Allison Bruin, Harrison Dunnick, and Elizabeth Eide, who are not able to be here tonight. We have Maren Enstad. We also had Kaden Hansen last year, Grace Haugen, Fauzia Ibrahim. We also had Mackenzie Novchinski, Savannah Lindstrad, and we also had Jason Malmgren. Next we have Kessa Mara, Allison Matson, Iritza Montes. We also had Colin O'Farrell and Marissa Peterson. With us tonight we have Jada Ryman, Jadi Santos Segovia. Alex Schramm is not here tonight, he's at the basketball game. But we do have Ella Shin, Ashley Stabell, and Lily Thompson. Thank you. At this time, now we invite this year's inductees, the 2022 Wilmer High School National Society inductees, to make your way in the same manner. I told them as quickly as possible to try and get it in alphabetical order, and since they're National Honor Society students, I expect that will go quite smoothly. Is that right? Remember, the key word is flexibility. So I hope I've got everybody's there, and if not, I sincerely apologize, and we will certainly make sure to get that to you first thing tomorrow. But here's what we have. Cameron Barney was not able to be here tonight, but we have Isla Baumgart, Thelma Benitez, Grace Buer, Colin Boss, Justin Bosch, Justin Bosch. Next is Ava Brogren. We have Cecilia Buzio. And Padraig Donnellan. Isaac Eichhorst. Braden Erickson. Kylie Gibson. Rian Hawadli, and Braxton Hyde. Next, we have Ray Halwerda, Leslie Jimenez, Henry Johnson, Jonathan Kelp, Adia Laidlaw, Ellery Lang, Andrew Lindquist, Macy Logie, Zoe Lovald, Madison Malone, Brenda Pablo Rolios. I should know this. Caitlin Ryak, and Jaime Ulloa. Let's give applause for all our 2022 inductees. Okay, thank you. At this time, if you would turn to the back of your program, and I'm going to ask all the students who are at the National Honor Society, both 2021 and 2022, to please stand. And I will have you repeat after me the National Honor Society pledge. I'm going to break it down into smaller chunks, but so when I pause, please repeat what I've said. I pledge to be a strong student, achieving the most from my education. I will be eager to learn from all people I meet and in all experiences I have. I pledge to demonstrate responsibility, showing enthusiasm and working with integrity in all that I do. I pledge to continue to develop the skills of leadership, practicing them in all aspects of my life. I pledge to be of service to my school, to my fellow students, and to my community, working to be a role model for my peers, helping us all achieve our best. I will maintain for myself and encourage in others high standards of all four pillars: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Thank you again all so much for being here this evening. Just a couple of things. We're at the end of our program. I'm going to ask the students to stay, and right behind the curtain here, I've got some choir music risers that we can quickly set up and do some photography with Mr. Hovland's here, and some pictures of a group to get into the yearbook. And then also you'll have a photo opportunity for selfies and whatever you want to post and share. You certainly deserve it. Set up in the cafeteria. Mara Nenstead and Ashley Stabell very kindly set that very nicely up for us, and so please take advantage of that. And you'll also notice in the cafeteria that there are refreshments, some nice cupcakes and some juice, and please join us in there and enjoy. I'm sorry, Mr. Yes. Oh, okay. That's okay. So that makes things a lot easier. Yeah. So why don't you all head out there? Mr. Troko's going to do it out in the lobby. I wish I'd known that before. Oh well, that's okay. Did everybody go? Oh well, I just had the one right. So the rest of you, thank you very much, and please join us in the cafeteria, and we will get set up there in a few minutes, and we'll have the students come in. Thank you again for joining us this evening.